Real men are the men who help their wives at home. Real men are the ones that help with the kids because they're their kids too. Real men have compassion. Real men also give space to their partner.
The reason that some men fail and others don't, there's a couple of reasons. And the first one is there's this trap of effort and approval. So a lot of men, what they'll do when they have a woman that they like or thinks that she likes him is that he'll instantly try to win her affection. So he'll do nice things for her. He'll say, let me buy you flowers and gifts. And you're trying to earn her affection. You're trying to almost like bargain with her. You want to be attracted to me because of all these things that I do for you. Now, when you do that, it creates this neediness. Women sense that you really need, and women don't like that. They don't want to feel a man that's needy for things. Another thing that you want to avoid here is this trap of a real man. So I'll show a clip here.
Here's the thing about real men. Real men are not threatened by strong women. They're turned on by it. A lot of men don't like strong women because it requires them to be real men. Real men are not scared of your independence. They encourage it.
But when women get on here and say a real man does this or a real man does that, we as men need to reject what women do to define us as men. We don't need a woman's definition of what manhood's going to mean for us. When women define manhood, they mean what it means to them. So they might say a real man opens the door, pays for the first date, pays $600 for dinner, all these things because she's thinking at it through her eyes. But that's not what masculinity is. Masculinity is what we as men say it is because it's our gender. That's what we do. So the next thing is seeking approval. So a lot of men, they'll say to their woman or their girlfriend or the girl that they want to date, hey, how would you feel if we went to this restaurant? What restaurant should we go to? Is it okay if I kiss you? Is it okay if I hold your hand? Can I have your permission to have sex? Now, when men do this, from a woman's perspective, you're placing your value on them, right? You're placing what someone else thinks you should be, your self-worth in their hands. So the thing is, like, you really have your whole life in front of you. What's going to be persistent about you? Let's say you have a woman and she tells you where you're going to eat out at night. She tells you things that you want or are going to do. So this really isn't what you want. You got to do what you want. You've got to be the master and commander of your own soul, right? The captain of your ship, as it were. That way, when women come to you, they see that you've got somewhere to go and they can decide whether they want to be part of where you're going in life. You're not asking permission to do what you want to do with your life. Okay, so you've got your whole life. The one thing that's going to be constant throughout your life is that it's you. It's not going to be anybody else. Women, they may come and they may go. I know it would be very nice and very cool and very romantic if a woman would stay with you her whole life, build a family, build a life with you. But in reality, that may not happen. Even in the best of times, that may not happen. And we are well past the best of times. That was a generation or two ago. And those times are not coming back for a long time. So we talked about this a little bit, but the more you chase that validation, the more you seek that approval, the less attractive you are going to appear. See, women will say things, and not just women, like your mother. Your mother will say, ooh, you want to be a sensitive man. You want to be cautious of her feelings and her emotions and tiptoe around them and don't say anything that hurts her feelings. But in reality, that's what a girl wants to feel, but that's not what she responds to. A man that does, that's not attractive to her. Again, she's looking for a man that knows what he already wants. That signals that he's going to be the leader. That's what she's looking for. That's what she wants. And you'll see this a lot. Influencers, these women will get on and say, where are all the real men at? Or real man would come and open my door for me. So this is This is, again, it's letting women define you. And the more you say, "Ooh, if I open the door, will she like me?" The more I try and do for her, the more I spend on her, the more she'll like me. That's the less attractive that you're going to appear. All right, so now let's go over here. Okay, this is Marcus Aurelius. He is a famous philosopher, and his big thing was the Stoicism. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the men who are Stoic and what that can do for you. Okay, so this is a paradox. And I know I talk about paradoxes a lot, but confidence doesn't come from success. You don't win a bunch and then, wow, you're so accomplished at winning, then you feel confident. Success follows how you think about yourself. So what do I mean by that? So let's say you're trying to marry a woman. That's your goal. You're not going to be confident enough to just walk up to a woman and go on a date and confident enough to say, "Will you marry me?" These things have to be worked up to. You have to be confident to do that. Because if you just weasel your way and say, "Hey, you think you want to maybe possibly, if you have time, go out on a date with me, but you can choose where we go. You can choose what we eat. You can choose the activities," right? You lack that confidence, and that's going to be a big turnoff. So really, in order to get women, you need to be confident already. But how can you be confident already if you're not already getting women? So this is that catch-22, that paradox. You have to be confident to get women. You got to get women to be confident. So what you can actually do instead is do little things that build your confidence. So I'm talking about going to the gym and other things that men need to do to feel. So every day you do that, you're building your testosterone. It's a little win. Making more money, getting a better job, doing more work, growing your own business, starting your own YouTube channel, stuff like that. These are going to be the little wins in your life. And those little wins add up. They build up that confidence, right? So as you get going throughout your dating career and your dating life, you started building these up. And yeah, you're going to get a lot of rejection along the way. But every once in a while, you'll get a girl who will say, "Yeah, let's go hang out. Let's go do this something." Right? And then those little wins will build up that confidence bank. So, there's that fake it till you make it. You want to act confident, but sometimes it is hard to fake. And so what you can do is win at the other areas of your life and build yourself up, make more money, work out more, eat healthy, sleep, take care of yourself, and those little wins will compound. Okay. So self-respect and integrity shape behavior long before results appear. Yeah, again, it may take a while. You might need a lot of rejection. One thing I've noticed about life, modern life, is that there's so much competition, right? If you're a man, you're in your work life, you're competing against the third world, you're competing against AI, you're competing against women in the workplace. It's not like the baby boomer generation where you couldn't just go up, you just can't go up to the business CEO, shake his hand and say, "I'm going to work for you till the day I die." That's just not how things work anymore. So that's not really a great strategy. If you want to do anything in this life, I found you have to do a lot of it. When I was in sales, you had to call people, and cold calling people sucks, and I hated doing it. But once you get something done about 1,000 times, you're going to start to notice that things can be successful. So if you really want to get married, and maybe you don't, maybe you say, "Hey, that's not for me." But if that's something you really want, you might have to talk to a lot of women. You might have to talk to and approach over 1,000 women. I think, but at that 1,000 mark, you're going to get really good. Same with like cold calling, same with any sales, same with making YouTube videos. The creators who have really won on the platform, they seem to do about 1,000. Once you have about 1,000 of something under your belt, you're going to be a total expert at it. So just keep in mind that it takes time. And over time of doing these activities consistently, working out, building your business, taking good care of your mental and physical health, and those things compound over time. Okay, so as you're as you're going, as your thoughts start to change, your actions change. This identity is formed and repeated. So it's a feedback loop, right? The more you're taking care of yourself, the more you're putting your efforts forward, you're going to be able to change your thoughts, change how you think about yourself. So how many times do you think you'd have to go to a gym before you think of yourself as a strong man? Maybe once a week? No, probably not. Maybe once a day? Yeah. You start going to the gym once a day, 6 months, a year, right? You're going to start having the gym time under your belt, and you're going to change how you start thinking of yourself. You'll start thinking of yourself as strong. So too is dating. If you talk to a lot of women, you get good at talking and creating this emotional experience to bring her in. If you get good at your looks maxing, right? Not just your physical appearance, but how you do your hair, how you take care of your skin, and putting lifts in your shoes if you're a little shorter. Like things like this will boost how you feel about yourself. You'll start feeling like you're a man that deserves good things in life, that deserves respect. So again, that's kind of Marcus Aurelius. Is a lot of inner validation is how you think about yourself. We talked on this a little bit at the beginning. Attraction grows as you prioritize what you want. This seems contradictory, right? You're like, I want to make women happy so that they'll like me. But the paradox is if you try to please them, they're not going to be pleased with you. They're not going to be happy. They're going to feel like you're needy or you're desperate, right? The opposite is true. A man that knows what he wants, that's directed in his life, that's engaged in his community, that works out, has hobbies, has a side business, has a work, and really you can't provide for a family unless you're doing all those things, because you can't just do a one job thing anymore. That's just not the society or the economy we live in anymore. That was a couple generations ago where one man could just provide for a family, but that's not really where we're at. So you need to be doing things on the side, building your income, building your networking, building your community. That's really important. Okay, now, one thing, a lot of women are consensus based. So they get together and they say, the evolutionary psychologists say, oh, this is from when back in the day, they would be in tribes, the men would go hunt. Women didn't want to be ostracized from that group because they needed other women's help to raise the children. They needed other women's help for the farming and the implements and things like that, while the men would go out hunting. So you did not want to be ostracized as women. So women have this very strong desire and urge to just go with the flow, follow the consensus. This is another reason why they vote Democrat a lot, is because all the TV shows tell them to, all their favorite celebrities tell them to, right? So all that consensus manufacturing really just plays out this way. Where men, it's much more important to be authentically your authentic self. Not that I want to go into politics at all, but this does line up a little bit with what in terms of voting patterns. When you have your own opinion, it creates authentic. I'll tell you a quick story. When I was in college, I remember explaining to a girl what Ubuntu was, right? This is a Linux distribution. It's a nerdy IT thing. But I was explaining how like the desktops, you could turn it into a cube and you had all these cool animation and graphics and things, and you could do all these really, really cool things on a computer. This is back in like 2005 and 6. So even back in the day, I was super excited about all the things you could do with the Linux distributions, right? But this woman could care less. She was totally uninterested in IT. But you know what? When I was explaining it to her, she could see the fire in my eyes. She could see that thumos. She could see the fire in my belly. And this guy's going to go somewhere because he's passionate. He knows what he wants out of life and he's taking it. So that's not just your hobbies. That's anything that you could do. So you want to create that presence there. Okay. Now, when you are authentically yourself, you're going to find that you get rejected. So let's say you offer to take a girl out and, you don't want to invest too heavily in her. So maybe you offer her, hey, let's go grab coffee. Hey, there's this great park. Let's go have a picnic or something. Right now, a lot of modern women they just feel like they deserve. And if you don't give them exactly what they think they want, a $200 dinner with drinks afterwards, if you're not doing that for them, they're just not going to entertain you because it's so valuable. And there's even women talking about doing a deposit. In order just to go on a date with them, you have to lock up $50 to $100 just to have their time. And as men, we should be going away from this, because if somebody demands a deposit to spend time with you, then they are telling you who they are. They're telling you that they're not interested in you as a partner and you as a life mate. They're telling you they're not attracted to you. You should listen. You should listen, right? So let's say you're authentically yourself. You say, hey, let's do a picnic date. I got this great park. And our parks have like maybe sand volleyball on the beach or something. Hey, let's go. I got a couple friends. We're going to meet up for volleyball. I want to bring you along. And she's like, gross. I would never do that. That sounds cheap. That sounds dumb, right? That rejection is going to sting, but be so grateful for that rejection, because she's telling you, don't waste your time on me. I'm a bad fit for you. I'm never going to be happy with anything you do. So the more authentic you are to yourself, the more that you're going to find more rejection. But rejection is a good thing, because you're filtering out those girls who are not into you at all. So you don't want to go around chasing women that aren't attracted to you, that aren't into you. And yes, and then dating becomes a process of discovering compatibility, not persuading someone to choose for you. You're not trying to convince her to like you. You're trying to figure out if she already does. Okay. Control and natural attraction. You cannot control what other people are going to do. You can't control if they like you. You can't control. All you can control really is your emotions, how you feel about things, and your boundaries. So rejection is simply information about fit, not your verdict on your worth. And when you stand in yourself, attraction is a byproduct, not a pursuit, right? Again, you don't want to chase women. You want to be authentically yourself, and you want to grow those things that make you attractive. So you're not trying to chase a woman and then make her love you by offering her gifts and showering with adulations and writing poems and poetry and showing up. And all the movies have this 100% wrong, by the way. But that's not what women respond to, right? If you show up outside her house with a speaker over your head, you're not going to make it. She's not going to like that. She's not going to understand that effort towards her. Instead, put the effort towards yourself. Be stronger, be fitter, be more attractive, buy better clothes, do your hair better, have your hygiene better. Everything. You've got to work on yourself to become the type of man that she would be attracted to. Instead of trying to attract one, you're trying to attract all. And that's really the key distinction. So when you do that, you'll become attractive as a byproduct, not as a pursuit. So when you're trying to be better yourself, people will become naturally attracted to you. Okay, let's go to the final thought here. As you think, so you shall become. That's what I need you to remember. As you think about what kind of person you are, you'll start engaging in those activities to make it into the person that you want to be. And so as you think, you shall become. And confidence is not the result of attraction. It is the cause. So you have to be confident before you're attractive, and you become attractive by being confident. Again, it's like a circular loop. It's a paradox, but you do it by overall putting a little bit of effort here and there to build up the type of person you want to be, and confidence will follow from that. So do the things that make you attractive and you'll be confident. When you're confident, then you're attractive. I hope you guys like that, and hope to catch you in the next one. Take care.